Hi everyone. My name is Pierre-Luc. I've seen some of you before. I used to train here in Ottawa before the national team used to train here. So I'm going to first give you a little bit of background about me, and then after we'll talk about the MasterClass and what the subject is today. And at any time, if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt. If you want to challenge the things that I'm saying, don't hesitate. It will be interesting. So first of all, I started playing when I was 6 years old. My mother used to be a player on the Quebec provincial team, and then I tried many different sports, and I tried table tennis. I liked it. Also, it was good to have a personal coach. And then, so I started playing, I liked it, and then when I was 11, I started getting more serious about it, and I started to play for the Quebec team. I went to Vancouver for a month, trained with a lot of people, it was good, and then from that point, I knew like I wanted to invest a lot of time in table tennis, and then when I was 13 years old or 14 years old, I moved to Montreal. I don't know if some of you are familiar with Rimouski. Rimouski is a town like 600 kilometers east of Montreal. So I had to move quite far away from my parents. I lived with a family of another player that used to be on the national team as well. So that was quite a big change for me. I was 14 years old, moving away. And then when I was in Montreal, I was able to train like around 25 hours a week. We had school in the morning and training in the afternoon. That was great. And then after, I only stayed 1 year in Montreal. Then I moved to Belgium. I trained in Belgium for 2 years actually. At that time, the national team system was not ready yet. Like we didn't have the training center here. So I spent 2 years training in Belgium, and then I came back here in Ottawa. That was for the transition between my junior career and my senior career. After 2 years, I didn't qualify for the 2012 Olympics. I was a bit young. I was 17 at the time of the qualification. That was disappointment, but yeah, it's okay when you're 17. My plan was to try another time for 2016. Then I went to train in Europe again for 3 years, 2 years in Germany, 1 year in Hungary. It was good to play some national leagues over there. And so I played for many different teams, French team, then a Swiss team. So yeah, I trained a lot trying to make the team for the 2016 Olympics. Unfortunately, I didn't make the team. I lost in the final on the first day, and the next 2 days of qualification were not that good. So that was really disappointing, but yeah, I think I've had some good highlights in my career. I've been national champion a few times in junior and under 21, and once in senior. Played the Pan American Games in Toronto. I don't know if some of you went to watch the Pan American Games in 2015. Yeah, that was a great experience. So I would say that's the thing I'm most proud about regarding my table tennis career. And now, after 2016, after the Olympic trials, I decided to stop playing table tennis competitively. So I just said I was going to go to school, so now I'm studying in Montreal, and I'm studying engineering, and I still coach, not much, but every week. I used to coach at least once or twice, so I still try to get involved in table tennis on the board, as board member of Table Tennis Canada, athletes representative, some things like this. My main focus is not table tennis anymore, but I still try to get involved. So I'm here today. The reason why I'm here is to give the MasterClass, and the subject that I chose is how to make table tennis easy, how to create a structure in your game that will help you to win points easily. Like, I'm sure some of you here think, these guys like Malong, Zhang Jike, the top players are so good, but they can hit the ball so hard. But the truth is, yes, they can hit the ball hard, but everybody can hit the ball hard. Like, the ball weighs 2.7 grams. Like, everybody here has enough power to hit the ball hard. The difference, the way I see it, is that they get the chance to hit the ball hard, but let's say if you don't train like them, you don't have the same structure, you don't get the chance to hit the ball hard because they hit the ball hard before you get the chance to hit it hard. So how can you make sure that you get the chance to hit the ball hard? So that's what we're going to speak about today. I'm going to focus like mostly on the first 4 balls because, as we will speak later, like if you're not good in the first 4 balls, probably you already lost the point. So you should focus. I believe that it's important to focus on the first 4 balls. This will give you an advantage and will give you the chance to hit the ball hard. What I'm going to say is I'm going to talk about how I saw the game, but I'm a left-hander. I have some skills that maybe some people here don't have. Like, for example, if I'm stronger on the forehand side, you might be stronger on the backhand side, so it might not apply. But what I want you to remember from this masterclass is how to think, how I was thinking to win the point, and then you can apply that to your own game. Everybody is different. Some people here might play pen holder, some people might be a right-hander. I guess most of you are right-hander. So what is the basic principle of table tennis tactics? Anybody? Try some things. Nobody wants to try something? Yeah.
Taking the initiative.
Sorry?
Taking the initiative.
Taking the initiative, that's good. Any other idea?
Setting up for the attack.
Setting up for the attack. But you
win the point.
Sometimes you might not want to attack. Maybe you're strong for defense, so that might apply to you, but doesn't apply to everyone. I want something general, but that's...
You want your opponent to play to your strength.
Yeah, that's... The way I see it, the goal of table tennis tactic is to use your strengths against the opponent's weaknesses. Like, I'm going to say that a few more times during the presentation. Like, and it's simple, but if you can apply that, if you manage to apply that, then probably you'll be a good player. Like you said, attacking. I assume attacking is your strength. So you want to use your attacking skills against the weaknesses of your opponents. So starting from this principle, let's see how we can do that. Of course, the example are going to come from my perspective. So I'm going to describe myself as a player. So my strengths, you have to remember those, and then because that's how you'll see that they make sense in the way that I was building the points. So my strengths were my service. Like, I could have a lot of spin on my service, and I had, I would say, good long serves. So this is the first part. After, I think I had a good first ball attack. I was able to produce a lot of spin. So, and then I could play mostly everywhere. I was not so powerful, but I could put a lot of spin on the first one. I was quite good on half-long balls. So half-long balls are balls that are a bit like, if you let them bounce, they will end close to the line on the second bounce. So I felt comfortable going over the table and going everywhere. So that was one of my strengths. And short receives. I think you had a masterclass before on short games. So short receives was one of my strengths. And back and block. Not so many people here might say I'm comfortable with blocking, but on the backhand side, I was really comfortable. And forehand attack in general, but forehand attack from the middle part of the table. I was not so good in the corners. So these are my strengths. You'll see, we'll speak about this later, how this all fits together in the way that I want to win a point, when I want to win a point. And then let's talk about my weaknesses. I really hate when people serve me long. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about it because the other one gets to choose what he wants to serve. But yeah, this was a problem for me. I was not good on half-long balls when they were outside here, so I want to avoid getting those balls. Forehand flip, pretty much inexistent, so I have to find a way to I don't have to play this, hopefully, in the match. And forehand counter. So I said I was comfortable with backhand blocking, but I was not comfortable with blocking in general. I was comfortable with forehand blocking. So it gives you a good overview of my game, hopefully. And do you have any question at this point? Anybody has questions, comments? Okay. Yeah, I was talking about how we can apply our strengths against the opponent's weakness, and now I was describing my game as a player, my strengths and weakness, and now we will see how I was using this information to build my game. So the first ball of the point is service. Some of you might have heard the quote from Waldner, one of the best players in the world before, used to be the best player in the world. He said, like, you should spend a lot of time on service training because serve is the first ball of the point and it's the only ball that you totally control. And this makes sense. If you're going to start a point, you should try to start it to your advantage. So that's the idea of service. But if you're going to serve, let's say I like to think that my service, for example, the upspin service, was not bad. Like, I had quite a bit of upspin. But then, what did I say that I like to do after, like, what are my strengths? I like to attack on half-long ball. So if I'm going to serve, like, upspin all the time, what's the natural receive on an upspin service, short service upspin? Like, most likely my opponent will come and flip. But I don't really want that. Like, if that happens, even if my serve is good, I'm in trouble. So I might use upspin service, but only as a way to change. Like, I really like to serve upspin if my opponent is pushing, because then I get a high ball. But if I keep serving upspin all the time, I'll get a flip, and I don't like when people flip. So what I'm trying to say is maybe you have something that's good, like upspin service, but if it doesn't fit in your game, it's not useful. You should try to build a point to make it useful. Okay, let's say I had long serves. Long serves were good, but why do I need long serves in my game?
To change the serve.
Yeah, because if I want to get like downspin ball, ideally that I can attack. If I'm always going to serve like downspin, side spin, eventually the other one is going to be able to push short. And then I don't want that. So there's no way that I can use the same serve all the time. So I'm going to go and I'm going to make some long serve, keep my opponent guessing what I'm going to serve. And then serve short, serve long, mainly downspin because that's what I want. That's the way that I can get the ball that I want back. But then I need to make some upserve, otherwise the other one is going to be too good at it. So I hope that I'm clear when I say that you need to use the serve that match your skills. Like when I was young, I used to serve like that all the time, like the hammer serve, or I don't know how you call it. But then the problem is this serve was spinny, was quite good, but then the forehand side is all open. It doesn't really fit my game, and it's really hard to make a fast long serve with this one. So even if it was a good idea to serve like that because it's spinny serve. Unless I want to win the point directly, doesn't fit my game. Okay. Okay, so now let's speak about receiving. Like when I receive, I'm sure most of you here don't focus on receive, or do you often practice receive? If I would say, what's your favorite receive? How do you like to receive?
To my backhand.
To your backhand, but.
Oh, what my favorite return?
Yeah, your favorite return.
Deep angular in the backhand.
Okay, so backhand to the opponent's backhand. Well, what do you like to receive?
I'm new player, I don't know.
Okay.
I like to chop it.
You like to chop?
Yeah.
Okay. I assume there's a specific reason why you like to chop or why you like to play backhands, probably that you're more comfortable with a backhand play. What I like to receive was, if we think about what my strengths are, what do you think I like to receive?
You like it at forehand topspin.
I like forehand topspin, but what am I going to receive if I want to use my forehand topspin after?
Long serve. Chop, long serve, then loop it.
Yeah, but if I chop long, then the other one's going to attack first.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, well, if he attacks to my forehand, that's one of my weakness. So I want to use one of my strengths. So what am I going to do? Well, most of the time I said I like to receive short because I have good feeling for it. So I'm going to try to receive short. But if I receive short, like really like a regular short push, most likely my opponent is going to push short back. So what I'm trying to do when the other one serves is to push like with a little bit of side spin, and we can practice that a bit later. You'll see if you push short push is a bit hard, but when you practice it, it can be a really useful skill. So you're going to push short, and then if you push short side spin, it's really tough to push short back. But then I push short, the other one is most likely pushing half long back, because that's what people tend to train, to push short again, but he's going to try to go short, it's going to be a little bit high, and then I can use my strength, like the half long that I mentioned, I think was the third one that I mentioned. So I can attack on this half long ball. That's how I'm thinking. What's another choice that I have? Any idea?
Push long.
Yeah, okay, push long. Where am I going to push?
No, depending where he's heading. Head in there, head the other way.
Into the body.
Okay, yeah, both answers are good. Like the way I'm thinking, I said that my strength is backhand block. So I'm receiving on a short serve. If I push to the other one's middle, most likely they're going to loop to my backhand. They will loop to my backhand, I can block far there, and then they're just running for the ball, and the whole table is open. So that's one idea. The other idea is, if I want to make sure that the ball is coming to my backhand, where should I push? Because if I push to the middle, like you said, which is a good idea, but they might loop to my forehand. It's easy for them to loop to my forehand. But if I push wide to their to their forehand, like that, good luck looping the ball here. Like that's very tough. So they will loop here, which I can use my backhand block, something I feel comfortable with. And then, what am I gonna do if the other one is serving long? Because I said I don't like that, but I have no choice. What would be the best reaction for me when somebody serves long, according to the strength that I mentioned earlier?
Your strength, what, backhand? What's your strength?
My strength, forehand attack.
Or do you use the loop?
Yeah, okay. But I can't control. Maybe my opponent is serving there or here. I don't get to choose where he will serve, but I get to choose where I will receive. Where should I receive according to my profile? Should I play to his backhand or to his forehand? Backhand. Because I want to get the ball, like most of the balls are coming cross. So if the guy serves me long, with backhand I'll play there. He'll most likely play here. I can use my forehand. So do you start to see like how I was thinking, how I build my game? It's really, you really need to know your strength and your weakness, and then you start from there. And every choice that you make should either be to use those strengths or to make sure you can use it later. Okay, so that's the beginning. Any questions about service and receive, how we can use that? Okay. I would like, who would like to make who has good short service? Anybody?
Has good what?
Short service.
Serving?
No,
Yeah,
short,
serving.
Short service.
Short service. Okay, sure, come on. Okay, because I mentioned something about like side spin, short receive, but that's, yeah, you can use my racket. So let's try to demonstrate what it is. So you're gonna serve short, I'm gonna push short, and then you're gonna try to push short back. It's okay, take your time.
Smash it.
Yeah, try to go short. That's really, it's hard to go short, yeah. Long, again. If I give you like, okay, that was long. If I give you a regular short push, see now he could manage to push short, but when I go side spin, let's try again. Long again. So, do you see the difference, like in the way that I touch the ball, or it looks the same?
Looks the same.
It looks the same?
I know it's not. One's a side one.
Yeah, when on the side one I go a little bit sideways. It's a small difference, but he couldn't push short. Like, I mean, it's possible to push short, but you need to be much more precise. And this is a small difference that actually it makes it easier for me to use my strength. So when you train, you should always focus on what will help me in the game. Like, I was not training much of thank you. I was not training much of the regular like short ball, because whenever I serve short like that, then the other one, whenever I receive a regular short, I get a short ball back, and I said I don't like to flip with forehand. So that's always what I had in mind when I was building my training. Okay, now after the third ball, we'll speak about after the receive, we'll speak about third ball. Now I really want you to try something. Well, I already mentioned some of the third balls that I like to get. So what should I do with my third ball? How should I play this third ball? We mentioned that I want to attack. I want to have the chance to use my forehand over the table, but yeah, that's fine. But where am I going to play? We mentioned that I like blocking, but where should I block? Any suggestion, like, of what I should do? Yeah.
Where the person isn't.
Sorry?
Where the person is not standing, or towards the body.
Yeah, towards the body, or where the person is not standing. That's the body is good. Where the person is not standing can be a trap. Because if you see like good forehand players, the forehand spot always looks open, but every time you play there, the ball comes back super fast. So you have to see, if they're out of balance, they won't be able to move fast. But if they're perfectly balanced, but it looks empty, it looks like this side is empty, it's not. Yeah, it's dangerous. Yes?
You put a lot of spin
Yeah, I put a lot of spin.
to the right side. If they attack, you block with your left side, with your back hand.
Okay, so what you're suggesting is I would spin where?
To the right.
To the right?
Yes. If they attack,
Yeah.
it has to come to your left to block.
Yeah, that's really good. Because that's one of the things I like to use a lot. But why? There are two reasons why I should attack to the forehand side mostly. Because in general, if I play there, as you said, the first reason is they will most likely play to my backhand side, and then I can block. And the second reason is, do you know many players who are good with forehand counterspin? Like, personally, I knew some players that are good at it, but they're only good at it 50% of the time. they miss a lot. Like, it's a really risky shot. If you make a spinny ball, you make a really spinny ball to counter this ball, to attack this ball, it's really risky. And then, so people at the beginning of the game, they will try to counter this ball really hard, and most likely they will miss like over 50%, then they will start blocking. If they start blocking, I said I like to play like from the middle of the table with my forehand, so it's easy, I can just play the next one. So that was really good idea, that's where I should play. Any other idea, what we said, yes?
Well, as I'm left-handed, I didn't appreciate much of it, because you can get a sharp angle across the net, I think, and come right way off the side of the table.
So you mean I should try to attack that?
I thought backhand, right?
Yeah, so if they push to my backhand, I should play far there. Yeah, that's a good idea, but I was not good at it, so I always played down the line. I played down the line, so if I start here, most people are not so comfortable with backhand counterspin again, so they will most likely block here, and then I can attack with my forehand. But it's a good idea. What you said makes sense. It's just that it didn't apply to me because that was not one of my strengths. But any ideas that you have might be good for you, but not good for me. Yes. So that's one thing. Another idea. What? One question. Okay, so how will I try to get the other one out of balance? So to make the other one out of balance, first you need to kind of condition your opponent. He has to expect something. So if at the beginning you're always going like down the line to his backhand like that, and most likely at one point he's gonna be trying to step around, but he won't. And then when I know that he's gonna try to step around, that's when I need to change. But in order to have this opportunity, you need to kind of set him up. Otherwise, he won't anticipate. So to make the other one out of balance, you kind of need to do the same thing a few times, and then when you know that he knows that you'll do something, then you change. So that's the way I would go. And another way to get your opponent out of balance is to make faking. So let's say if I would come to push, I might look like I'm going there, but then I will just go like that. So it's to use your body, go with your body in one direction, and then the ball goes to the other direction. That's a trick that you could use, but it takes time to get used to it, and in the match, it takes courage to do that. But sometimes you have no choice, and so that's a way to go about it. So we were talking about how and where I should play the third ball. If I get the third ball, a general rule, when you attack hard, where should you attack? Where to attack when you attack with power, with speed, strength? Yes?
I would say to make sure you hit the table. So
Yeah.
Because if you try to place it and be powerful at the same time, it's possibly you miss. But that's what.
Yeah. That's always a good idea to put the ball on the table. I'm never gonna deny that. So when you attack, personally, general rule, when I attack hard, I like to go to the elbow. Like, you want to avoid playing to the racket of your opponent. Like, most of the people are waiting like that, it's easy to go here, it's easy to go there. Middle is the best place. But then again, if you always play to the middle, it's gonna expect it, and then you might be in trouble. But the general rule is when you play hard, I suggest playing to the middle, because that's where you need more time to react. When you play with spin, we said it before, spin mostly, I think mostly to the forehand, unless your opponent has a big like weakness on the backhand side. But most people are comfortable with backhand block. Like that's one of the skills that we learn first. So general principle: play hard to the middle, play with spin to the forehand, forehand middle, keep your opponent moving. It's a bit funny because I think you guys know Philip well, because Philip was here a few times. Philip Ilievsky, he came here, and most of the tactics that I'm talking about, like these were the basic tactics that I use against Philip. So if you play Philip, you'll know what to play. But those tactics were my main tactics. Now I wanted to speak about like fourth ball, but fourth ball is tricky because serve you control entirely. Second ball you depend on your opponent, you depend on his serve. Third ball you depend on your opponent's receive. Fourth ball you really depend on a lot of things. It depends on his serve, your receive, and his ball again. So I can give you some general idea of how to play the fourth ball or some basic scheme that I use on the fourth ball, but it's really hard to make sure that you get a fourth ball. Like you should focus mainly on if you can make a good receive, you might get a good fourth ball, but your opponent you have to assume that your opponent is also good and he's gonna try to use his strength. But I'm gonna still try to give you some ideas for the fourth ball. So we mentioned that before. You push there, your opponent's loop here, most likely backhand side is empty, is free. So you can just block back here. And I'm sure everybody here can use this tactic. So yeah, we'll practice that later, but push there, loop cross, block back there, and then use your forehand or your backhand to attack. These are classic tactics. But then most of you are probably righty, so you can still do that, but then you should decide if you feel comfortable blocking to your opponent's forehand. If your opponent is quite powerful with forehand, might be a better idea to go back to his backhand, wait for him to make a mistake. Another solution that I used on the fourth ball was, so my opponent serve, I receive the side spin receive. They will push most likely long, and then I attack like we said on the third ball. Like, what did we say? Where if I go hard, I go to body. If I go spin, most likely I will play to the forehand. Yeah? Okay, so these principles, they're always valid as long as you get a ball that you want to attack. Like you can attack to the middle. My strength will stay the same whether it's the fourth ball or the third ball or the fifth ball of the point. I will always try to use my strength. Okay. And sorry. When I was blocking, I also liked, that's the way I was thinking. So, okay, you push half long to the middle, your opponent is a bit stuck, he loops to your backhand, you block him far there, now he has no choice but to play here. I like to play forehand from here, just play to the other side again. So, anybody would like to demonstrate that? Don't worry, I'm not going to go too hard. Okay, you want to try? Sure. Okay, so you make a short serve to my wherever. I push to your middle. You go here. I will block far there, and you try to play back to. So you make serve. You make a service. I push to your middle. Okay. To your middle. You attack here, and then we'll play from there. Okay. Yeah, I can take it. Sorry. Okay, so try to attack this one, please. No? Oh, you have pimple. Yeah, attack. Yeah. Forehand.
Attack.
Yeah. Okay, so no, like the ball would come to my backhand, I would play there, and then try to counter attack after. Okay, so thank you. Yeah. Oh, okay. he expected it, but very good. But you saw like push there, go there, and then after expect the ball here. That's a thank you. That's an idea that you can use, and I think it applies to a lot of situations in you guys' game. Play far, expect the ball to the middle. Play wide, yeah. When you play wide, most likely the ball's coming back to the middle or cross, but really unlikely that it comes back down the line. So this was my, thank you. This was my presentation. I hope that you have questions that I can answer. Before we go and play, I would just want to remind you of the key takeaways from the presentation. So the main principle of table tennis tactic is
Play to your strengths and your opponent's weakness.
yeah, use your strength against your opponent's weakness. It's simple, but it works. Second takeaway, you have to plan your shots to make sure that they fit with your strengths. So as we said, like you might have a terrific forehand strong cross like that you play to your opponent's backhand, and he blocks it really fast backhand and you can touch it. So that skill is not so, it doesn't fit with your game, so you shouldn't do it. So yeah, always use the shots that will allow you to use your strength after. Your shots need to fit together. As I mentioned for the service, I might have a very good upspin service, but then after people flip, I don't like that, so I shouldn't use that. And the third one is general, but I really believe that to improve your table tennis games, like you should know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. Like I said, I talked about my strengths, my weaknesses, but like I had to do a lot of analysis when I was a player to come up with this list. Like it's not so obvious what your strengths are, because sometimes you may watch Malone and then you think, oh, have you seen his forehand after his serve? Like his forehand is so good. But then you have to think a little bit more about it and be like, is his forehand good, or his forehand is good because of his serves? So sometimes you might feel like when I block there very far and I get an easy ball here and I go hard with my forehand, most people would say, oh, your forehand is strong. No, my forehand is strong because I got an easy ball because of my backhand block. So my strength is not my forehand. My strength is my backhand block wide. So that's how, and if you want to have a clear profile about yourself, you need to think about it. It takes time. Like I'm sure if I asked you name 5 of your strengths, 5 of your weaknesses, it would take some time before it's clear and they are accurate. So if you want to improve, spend some time thinking about your game. Improving is not only while playing, it's also thinking about your game outside of the gym. Spend a lot of time. I know some of you are just playing for fun, but it's always fun to win. So if you like to spend some time thinking about it, I'll be here sometimes. So this summer. So if you have questions, you just ask me, and I'll be happy to help you think about your game. Yes?
The question I've got is, basically you admitted that you had certain weaknesses, and what concerns me is where you said that you hated to get a shot, because if we're training all the time, and you're saying you hated to get a shot, wouldn't you have practiced the shot long enough, even if you say you practice 4 or 5 hours a day some days, that eventually you would master what would have been your weakness? If you keep hating it, why wouldn't you have mastered a shot?
Yeah, but the thing is, if you train, you'll realize like it's really hard to change your general profile. Like, yes, of course, like if I get a bad long serve, I hate long serve, but I was not so bad at it, but I try to avoid it because, let's say, my receive on long serve is here, my receive on short serve is here. I train, I bring this here, this goes here, and then it's always, most likely it's going to remain my weakness. But it doesn't mean it's so weak that I miss. It's not that I miss, it's just that it doesn't fit my strength. Like when I get a long serve, there's not much I can do to use my strength. So, of course I could work on it, but then if I spend too much time working on this, then eventually my other strengths are not going to be my strengths anymore. So it's I would say I'm not at a certain point, like your style of playing, your strength, your weaknesses are most likely remain the same. You'll improve, but everything will improve, and weakness remains your weakness most of the time. Yes?
If you've never played anybody before, so you don't know them very well,
Yeah.
how can you identify your weaknesses fairly quickly?
Well, when I was playing, like most players now, with the technology, YouTube and stuff like that, like I would know them. Like I would watch them, watch a few games. And before I played someone, I always knew who I'm dealing with. But in general, like, it's true that I might not know my opponent's weakness. Like today I spoke a lot about how you build your game, but of course this will change depending on who you play. But as a general principle, if I was starting a match against someone, I would just use my strength, do my basic tactics, and then I will eliminate some of the scheme that are not working. Like if I for some reason play against someone who's really good with forehand counterspin, then I will avoid like looping there, and I'll just change. And that's really like who can change first, who can see the other one's weaknesses first. If you play someone you don't know, has a big advantage. So you have to spot it clearly, and also might be a bit like strange, but in the warm-up you can see a lot. Like if you see the guy is tense with his forehand, that's not a good sign for his counterspin. Like he's probably not going to be so good with counterspin. There's a lot of hint that you have that they're not. I never saw him try a counterspin, but from the way he holds his racket, things like this, I can recognize already some of his strengths. Yeah, that's something that you learn while playing and looking at players. Yeah. Questions, comments?
Could you
Yes?
tell me, could you tell me like what's the most important? It's a serve, right?
Yeah.
It's a serve, and that means there when you're serving, he does his the receiver does his that's called second ball or first ball. I serve.
Yeah.
For him, that's his first ball, right?
Yeah.
For the opponent.
Yeah.
So that means that they're like, how do my strength is my forehand. How do I serve the ball? Make sure you hit it to my forehand. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. So first, you have to think about which spin that you're gonna use. So most likely, can somebody come? It's just to demonstrate the spin. So I think like I didn't serve much with backhand, but let's say I'll just serve short to your backhand. Yeah, the ball's coming. Like I didn't tell him to play to my forehand, but it comes.
High.
Yeah. most likely the ball will come to my forehand.
Okay.
Now if I serve there, most likely comes to my backhand because of the spin, not so much because of the placement.
What spin are you using? Are you using the
That was side spin mostly.
Side spin?
Yeah, side spin, underspin. So the first thing you need to think about is the spin that you're going to put is going to influence like the opponent's placement. Like at least he can still play wherever he wants, but he's going to feel more comfortable. Like if I serve like this, most likely he's going to come back here. So this is, I think, the first step. Also has to do with the quality of your serve. Like if I serve really slow, it might be easier for him to counter my spin. But if I make like a low serve, it was still, I think, quite short, but it was low and faster. It gives him less time to react. So I would say thank you. That was what I wanted. Yeah. Thanks. So that's just general, like the spin that you're going to use. And then you have to know your opponent. Like if you keep serving, so that spin would make, if I serve reverse like that, most likely the ball's coming to my forehand. If I serve like that all the time, eventually the guy's going to get used to it and still going to be able to play to my backhand. But if I serve sometimes long, sometimes short, he's always going to be guessing, and he's always going to do the first thing that comes to his mind. And the first thing that will come to his mind will be put the ball on the table wherever it is, and then it's going to go to my forehand. So yeah, you have to keep your opponent guessing, and you have to think about which spin you're using, where the ball's supposed to come back. Yeah, that answers the question. Okay, so you had a question?
Yeah, maybe I'm asking something unfair. I don't want to sound like I'm looking for a cheat code. But while you're trying to learn the person's spins and whatnot coming in, do you have a strategy to say, how do I just put the ball on the table to get into a rally? So you're struggling with second ball.
Yeah.
Because there's nuance of the serve that you're trying to figure out. As you're doing that, say, even if I don't nail it perfectly, is there a strategy I can use to just get into the rally without, popping up a death ball?
And that's a good question. Like, you will for sure, because your opponent, if you're so much better than him, then you don't even need to think about this. But if you're playing somebody at your level, of course you'll need to make some compromise. I think somebody said earlier, what's the general tactic is put the ball on the table, or first thing you should do is put the ball on the table. And that's true, that always apply. If you can't receive a serve, I like to receive short, but if I couldn't receive a serve, I would go long and try to survive at the beginning just to get used to it. That's just but it shouldn't be your general tactic. If your tactic is just, I'll put the ball on the table and I'll see what happens, and hopefully one day I get a chance to use my strength, that I don't recommend using this tactic. It's up to you. But in general, if you just, at the beginning, if you struggle with something, it's good to go safe. If you look, I mentioned earlier when you asked, what do you do if you don't know your opponent, you have to test. And part of testing is okay, I can't receive this serve. I'll try going short. Okay, short doesn't work. I'll go long and I'll try to survive. And then in the end, probably by the fifth set or something, you'll feel comfortable with this serve. Yeah, that was a good question. You're right. At some points, you just have to put the ball on the table. If you're always losing, better decision to put the ball on the table and see what happens next. Another question?
Is there any way you can bait the person? Bait them? You know what I mean? Like fishing? How do we bait them? Make sure you go that way and I'll kill the ball the other way. How do we bait them?
Bait?
B-A-I-T?
Okay.
I put a worm in a hook.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Well, it has to do with, I mentioned, conditioning. You have to condition your opponent. You have to. I remember when I was 11, I was playing against this guy, and Actually, at that time, for some reason, I like when people serve me long. It didn't last, but at that time I was comfortable, and I was purposely standing on this side of the table, like really to the right side. And then because I was standing there, the guy would always think that this side is, I won't be able to reach the ball, so I would wait for him to throw the ball, would move back, and he would serve there, and I would be able to attack. But let's be honest, that's really basic. Like, just stand on one side or look to one side to trick your opponent. Like, that's basic, but I think it has to do more with conditioning. So making your opponent used to something that he's thinking about this, and then after you change to, once you know that he's focused on that, you can change. One of the main tactics that I used, and this was Marlis, who is here, taught me this tactic. So you serve short down spin to the forehand. The guy puts it in the net. What is he thinking for your next serve? Oh, if the guy serves me short, I need to go up like this because it's so spinny, I don't want to put it in the net again. So what should you serve for the next one? Yeah, well, if you serve topspin, most likely your opponent is going to see that it's a topspin serve. But then, yes?
Less underspin?
Less underspin, and where?
Maybe the same place.
Yeah.
No?
No, what Martis taught me, and I used that several times, and it worked, is like you just serve there heavy underspin. Where's the next place you serve? You serve to the middle and no spin, well, or less spin. Because your opponent, he's going to move this way because he wants to reach the ball in time, and then the ball's coming there. So what's going on is his elbows moving in. When your elbow's moving in, your angle opens like this. Like, it's tough to be like that. Like, I don't feel comfortable right now, so I'm going to be like that. It's open, and then I'm going to go like this. What's going to happen is high ball for sure. So this is part of what you said, like baiting him or setting a trap. It's like you serve there. You have to think, what is my opponent thinking? And then do something that will trick him. That was like just one example, but there are many examples. Like if I loop like 5 times here, and then the guy is stuck in his middle, and what he's gonna do the next time, he's probably gonna step around. Before I touch the ball, he's already gonna be waiting like that, and then I'm just gonna play to the other side. Like, it's just like it's a mental game. You have to think what your opponent. You have to guess what your opponent is thinking. Yeah. Yes.
I always see these guys, first class players.
Yeah.
They look the other opponent in the eye.
Yeah.
And certain players, you can't tell from their expression what to do. What does that do in the game to the opponent or to you? Is that a tactics that is known to be used, or?
Well, first thing is intimidation for sure. like if I'm playing against someone and he's looking at me in the eye all the time, and he's or the opposite, like if you look at your opponent and you just won the point and everything is going well, and he looks perfectly in control, that's scary, because you're like, oh, how come this guy is not scared? And so that's part of the mental game. And the other part, I'd say, is you look at your opponent because you want to guess what he's thinking, and you want to see, like, because you can have signals. I had one friend who I practiced with. He told me, I know every time you serve short, like, and then when you're gonna serve long, because I served mostly short, but sometimes I was gonna serve long, he told me, like, you move your fingers up before, like when I serve, I have the same grip, like that, but before serving long, for some reason, I put my fingers higher, and he noticed that, but he can only see that if he's looking at me. So he studied me extensively, I guess, to know that, because I didn't even know that I was doing that. And I looked at the video, and he's right. When I put my fingers higher on my racket, it means I'm going to serve long. So that's part of the reason. And for Chinese players, and they will study, they have teams that study other players, and they will know, whenever Ovcharov jumps like that, he serves 70% of the time he serves long. When he's rolling the ball like that, probably means he's nervous. So they will know everything. They study players, and if you want to recognize those signals, you have to look at him. Yeah. Yes?
What are they doing? Often the player will walk over to the other side of him and he'll put his hand on the table.
Yeah, that's just because your hand becomes wet a bit and you want to dry it, and you're not allowed to go to the towel, so you would just you don't want to do it on your side, because the ball might bounce there and it's humid for you after.
They do it on the other player's side.
Yeah, I don't think that's allowed. That's intimidation. That's definitely intimidation, and it's not allowed. But yeah. Any other questions? So if you don't have any questions, we can move to playing. And so what we're gonna do? Yes.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Do you yell when you make a point to intimidate your player? Do you use different olay and all that stuff?
I used to cheer myself up when I want a point.
Does that help you cheer yourself up when you do it?
Yeah, but I know some people do it to disturb their opponents, but for me it was purely personal, just trying to cheer myself up, put myself in a good...
Not for intimidation's sake.
No, I was not doing it for intimidation, but yeah, the people that do it for intimidation, personally, when I was young it affected me, but as I grow older, it was not a problem, but I know some people do it, can be annoying. But if they do it for themselves, I personally have no problem with it. Yeah.
What about they stamp their foot when you serve sometimes too? Is that...
Yeah, well, initially, if you go back to 1970 or 60, people used to play with, now I have two rubbers of the same color because I use that for training, but you used to have two rubbers of the same color. One was anti-spin and one was regular rubber, tacky rubber. Anti-spin, so it's really soft rubber, no grip at all. And when you would hit a ball with a no grip rubber, the sound wouldn't be the same as when you hit it with grip, because when you hit with grip, it makes but when you have no grip, it makes no sound or a different sound, and they want to hide the sound. So what they do is just and you can't tell which spin that I put. So it's coming from there, and then I think some people put it in their regular motion for serves. Yeah. Okay, so today what we will practice is the general ideas of what we spoke about. So I'm gonna ask you, first I'm gonna give you 5-10 minutes to warm up, and then what we will try is you will pick one pattern or scheme that you like, and you'll tell your opponent. You'll tell him, okay, so for example, I might choose that I serve side spin under to your forehand, you push here, I start with spin to your middle. I'm gonna tell my opponent that's what's gonna happen, and I want you to really practice, the first step is thinking, what's useful for me, which pattern should I use in a game, and figure out one pattern that you should use with your serve, and tell your opponent what it's gonna be. And then we'll practice that, so you'll have 8-10 minutes to practice only this pattern, always the same pattern. You have to be confident in your patterns. And then after 8 minutes, your opponent will do it, and then we'll change partners, and then what we will try is the same thing, but for receiving. So you'll tell your opponent, okay, you're gonna serve to my backhand, I'm gonna push far to your forehand, you're gonna loop to my backhand. Something like that, some patterns that you feel comfortable with. And then we will change again, maybe do like another pattern. I'll ask you to find a second pattern, and we'll practice that for 5 minutes. And then if we have time at the end, I would like that we play some sets, some king table, but this time we don't tell our opponents what the patterns are. The only thing, well, you're free to do whatever you want, but what I recommend is if you practice 2 patterns, try to use those patterns when you're playing the games. And what I will do is I'll go from table to table and I'll ask you what's your pattern, and I might give you some advice or some things to think about. Yeah, but if you do that, that's not necessarily what will happen in a game, so I think you should push there or whatever. I'll try to help you to build the patterns, and if you have any questions, yeah, just ask me. So for now, I give you 5 minutes, try to get ready, get moving, play a little bit, and then we'll start.